Hi everyone and welcome back to DCS Played or Aspiring Autistic Pigeon as it's known now. Alright, I'm going to be looking down a little bit so that I can kind of explain this video that I've got here for you guys. So I'm doing a double recording, as you can tell. So let me kind of explain. I had to speed this video up again because the longevity of the whole process of uploading all of the videos is going to be too much because it's so long. Alright, so let me get going here. Basically what you guys have seen me doing so far is just kind of going over the skeletal structure that I picked from my previous video, which is still processing on YouTube for some reason, but it's coming. And this character is based on Final Fantasy characters of Final Fantasy Tactics, not Advanced, but on the Game Boy Advance, and they were quite a cool little bunch. But so I took the character and I broke him down to find out what shapes he's made out of, and that's all explained in the other video. But yeah, so now I wanted to make the character my own. Right, so what I did was obviously had to construct his body now, and what makes it easier is kind of knowing what kind of references you need to use. But in this case I didn't have to use too much reference because I'm quite familiar with crocodiles, and that's what this character's face was formed off of, and I'm quite familiar with humanoid drawing, so it's kind of like you just need to know your anatomy on that, and yeah, that's basically it. And as I'm going here, I don't know how, yeah, as I'm going here, I'm just trying to map out every piece of the character. Now I don't normally draw in blue color, but I chose to do that in this case because a lot of artists obviously do, so that they can it just brings out the image a little bit more for you to see hidden detail that you may have not seen in your mind. So what you're seeing there, you might be filling in things with your brain, and the blue kind of helps that to create the depth and just pull out the lines a little bit more, make them a little bit more clearer for you to see. It's kind of like when you study with colored lenses. Those lenses enable you to study much longer because you're looking on a colored background, not quite a white background, and it enhances your studying ability. So yeah, that's kind of the same concept that you have with these blue pencil lines. Now I use 4 different colors in this drawing. You'll see, as you'll see later on, is I actually use blue, I use green, and I got obviously black for the line work, and then I also use what is it, red. So yeah, that's the basic colors. I just switch between them so that I'm going to the different aspects of the character. You'll see me referencing how I like looking at the images every now and then. It's kind of to stay within the style of the drawing. Sorry. It's to stay within the style of the drawing. So I want to keep the style true to what Final Fantasies or Square Enix's people drew, concept artists drew, and or mock-up artists in this case. You know, they basically make the character for the game, but you know, this isn't on the process of concept anymore. So I also decided to go with my own unique twist to this character, so to kind of show that, you know, I'm not just looking at this character and drawing him over. That's not at all the case. I'm actually building a completely different character. So this unique armor and everything you'll see on this character here is not built into the game. The game does not have this samurai kind of armor, and with his weapon and shield, I had at this point in the drawing, I was still deciding kind of what I want to do with that, and you know, what kind of dynamics and what kind of things are going to happen with these weapons. So I decide later on to kind of implement detachable weapons, you know, that he can make different things, but that will come soon enough. You see I've switched to green there. I don't know how far back I am because that was my first point of explanation. Let me just quickly check. I'm not too far, it's about a couple of seconds out. But anyway, so yeah, I'm busy with the green, and I'm going and I'm deciding on his weapons, and I'm filling in here the mane or the ponytail of his helmet. So all of this stuff you can reference for yourself when you're busy drawing in the beginning and you're still learning how to draw. Then it is good to work off of references. In the case of, like, I want to draw a samurai, then I'm going to reference that samurai. If I'm going to do a professional job on or for someone who asks me to do a samurai drawing, then, or like a painting, then I'm definitely going to still reference. Even me at this level, I will still go in and reference those things because I want to get it as accurate as possible. But in this case, it was a very cartoony character, so I had a lot of freedom to play with the character himself. And you can see I'm going in a little bit of the line work. This is my first line work now. This is not to kind of get the line weight down. This is just to get the picture to come out. I do basically 2 line layers. The first one is this kind of one, and then the next one is just like sort of a cleaner version of this. That's still, you know, because I'm drawing on the tablet, I'm drawing, you know, the pressure can variate, and I'm still busy creating the character here, so I don't have much. There's still add-ons that I do and things like that, so I want to work on things further on in this. This is going to be a long chat. 20 odd minutes. Alright, so don't ignore the clock there. I checked it now, 33 minutes is going. You can actually see how long this drawing takes and the intervals of different videos there. But anyway, so I'm just busy constructing the framework of the armor at the moment, bearing in mind the contours and of his body. Luckily with samurai armor, what's nice about it is a lot of them have very straight pads, so you don't really have to focus on getting that pad around the chest. You can just kind of lay it over it because their armor is very square. I mean, all of us know samurais, come on. So anyway, but referencing again for you younger artists, do your reference work as well. I still do a lot of reference work, even when I'm working on some of my own pictures. It's just because it makes you get the right information into your brain. It's kind of like playing with memory in a way. If you're going to draw out of your mind the whole time and draw the wrong thing in line or in sense of a piece of art, then you are going to build up wrong memories in your head. And that takes time because it's habits. We're creatures of habits, so we form habits within our brain. And to replace a habit, we rather build a fresh habit than having to replace one, because it takes a little longer to replace the bad habits. And that's really it's the truth. I'm checking this. Yeah, okay, cool. The video is still fine. Checking the size of the video as well going. And that's really is the case. So rather build up better memory data for yourself to use. But all in all, advice is, you know what, don't be afraid to reference. It's not cheating in any way. You don't have to think of it like that. Everybody references, from the smallest artist to the experts out there. You know, the guys who are designing game concept art, comic book artists. Everybody's just referencing the whole time. There are those other guys that have been drawing comic books for so long that they've built up all those memories of those references in their head, so they don't necessarily always do the reference. But that is because they've already done it so repetitively that it's built into them. Yeah, as you can see, I'm still busy with the line work, but yeah, I'm beginning to decide now how everything is going to be put together. As I said, there's the baselines, and I'm trying to think, okay, well, how's this spear or this lance katana going to work? I'm pulling out the tools, obviously, just to get my straight lines and whatnot. But you know, that's just the norm. You know, I think it's more important to talk to you about the process and the way you think about drawing than the actual drawing, because that skill that is you pick it up. You just got to practice, and that's all I can say about that. There's no amount of magical potions and magical books that's going to make you a good artist if you don't apply it. You can read all the books in the world, but if you don't do any application, there is no technical work you're doing. So you're not going to put any information into your muscles, because that's all that drawing is muscle memory. Our artists have like a better perception in their hands, like surgeons, you know, they don't start out the brilliant way they do. They have to practice all those hours to make those precision cuts, and that's built in muscle memory, and that's what you're doing as an artist. Your brain is telling you how your fingers must move, how the pencil must move. You know, it's all an extension of you. It's kind of like a sword concept. Your pencil is an extension of your brain. So, or your whatever you're using, digital pencil, or a normal HB pencil, 2H, all those guys. And the rest just comes in time. You know, a lot of people will ask how you develop a style, but you know, I've talked about that in the previous video, so I'm not going to talk about it in this one. The reason I use 4 colors here, which I don't normally do, again I state that, is that I wanted to be clear to you guys what I'm doing, you know, where I'm working or how I'm working on it. So like with the green, it was especially for weapons. Now that the red, now that I'm using red to fill in like the hand detail and things like that, or the positions of the hands and stuff, that was because I didn't construct that yet. So underneath the black line, I've got this red line, and some of it looks all smooshed and stuff, but that's just extra detail for my mind to work through. Now normally that's not the most brilliant way to draw directly from, because that's why I actually did 2 layers of line art in this one, was because my lines were so rough in a way. You know, I did a fast sketch up of the drawing, and then I work those lines into it. And that takes a bit more time to process in your brain, because you're still busy constructing it at that point, which is acceptable. It's acceptable, but it's not always advised, unless you really do know how to build up a character directly from a rough sketch. That's also a way to save time. So this is a technique you can practice with your art, because building these things up eventually gives your brain more leeway to work. A lot of artists basically just draw a rough sketch and right over that they paint, or they draw perfect facial structures, and that stuff you have to practice. And well, I'm still getting to that point. I'm not, like I said, the best artist out there, but I have confidence in my skills so that I can teach you guys and help you guys learn how to think and create like an artist. All of the aspects that go into drawing, I will still go into that. This actually started with my previous video on how to begin thinking like an artist. So this was basically just from tutorial to getting into this. This video itself was just kind of like an interesting way to make this character, and for you guys to see the process in which I'm creating it and thinking about it. The main thing wasn't to teach you, okay, well, how to draw a hand. Well, that will still come. Those elements are still coming. But I first want to build the basic knowledge up into your heads, so that you can get from the 0 point to the 100% point completion without having to skip steps. Because skipping steps, I personally can attest to things like that. As I mentioned before in some of my own things, I didn't go to art classes and things like that. So my art was mainly just what I drew and things like that. And so I drew characters, and that was my main focus when I was in school. I draw this character. That's why it's so easy for me to mock up a character like this, because that was my main focus. You know, I did that all the time. So, but later on, you begin struggling with like different elements, like digital painting itself, and hey, you know, developing into different areas of art. So, lighting takes a little bit more time. Whereas when you begin with a good foundation and you begin building your way up, from there you're going to have everything, all the information you need. So, and then you can just go from thing to thing, and that's where you get the savants. That's where you get people who really know how to switch. Like my cousin is, you know, he does brilliant portraits. He does sculpting. He does a lot of different things, which I can also do. It's not that I can't do it, but it took me much longer to learn, and I'm still learning in many ways. All of us are learning in many ways, but even like the most experienced artists still develop good techniques and things like that. But for me, and for artists like myself, it takes a little longer, because you know, you didn't start with a good basis, you didn't start with a good foundation that I'm trying to show you guys here. So I've went through this, and I'm trying to save you guys the time from going, you know, 100% in, and you basically just get 25% out. Whereas we can start from zero and work your way up to 100%. You know, it's kind of like when you're playing a game, you need a first, what's considered like level up. So when I draw something amazing in my own eyes, I'm like, I leveled up. You know, I feel I've achieved a new level of art, and that's also important to push yourself. Yeah, as far as the picture is going, as you guys are watching, I'm just busy putting little details in. And normally, because this isn't the layout I'm talking about with the line art, this all the lines are, there's no weight to it. What line weight is bringing objects forward and backward depending on where they are on the plane. Now, many of you will be asking what planes, but that's to do with getting 3 dimensions onto a 2-dimensional plane, which is your paper. Your paper is 2D. It's a flat piece of paper, you know. It's just a flat thing, and you have to bring the image out, and that's how you got to begin thinking. You know, there's not just my phone's screen is a flat image, but what happens is, as you can see, because of lighting and different aspects of things, mainly actually just light. Light plays such a massive role in pulling out shapes. If there was no light, if there was no definition of light, that would look like a 2D cartoon. But yeah, so this drawing was quite fun to do, because I did all the sorry, just checking the timeline here. I did all these things, and now I'm going into that different layer that I was talking about, and I'm just pulling in the detailing on the character. As you can see, I'm pulling on the armor, and I'm busy getting those extra lines in there. And sometimes you'll see me pull lines more than once. It's just the tool that I'm using. Sketchbook Autodesk Pro is quite a nice program, but when it comes to line work, you really do need to, or I feel I need to use the line straightening tool, because what happens is when you pull the line, it feels so loose that you'll see when I pull natural lines that it's a bit shaky. It doesn't feel like there's any weight to the pencil, or to the pen, or to the tool, which I'm going to say Clip Studio Paint really does well. It adds that little bit of weight that drawing, so you just pull your lines naturally. But with Autodesk Sketchbook Pro, there are so many wonderful tools within it, and it's so simple to use, especially for your beginning level artists. It's a brilliant program to start out with, and you can develop further into it. It's not that you can't do professional work in this, you can most certainly do it. The capabilities are here, and I've been using it because you know, I've got a small sponsorship from them, and in the form of a promotional code. And what that basically made me feel like is like, okay, well, let me develop my talents within Autodesk Sketchbook, because it's just such a it's a really good program, and I'm not binging on it. I'm not giving it higher ratings than I normally would. As I say, the line work needs a bit of, they need to put a bit more weight into pens and pencils, but with their line straightening tool, that they did that. It's just unfortunate that it's such, it feels like a tool, where some of the other programs out there, Photoshop has the same problem with the line, with drawing lines. The line straightening capabilities is not as much as what Clip Studio Paint is, but it doesn't fall short in any other area where I'm talking about Autodesk here. It doesn't really fall short. It's got amazing tools when it comes to perspective, very easy and simple to understand, especially for your beginning artist. The tools are right there in front of you. You don't really have to learn too many shortcut keys on your keyboard, because your tools are accessible by Lagoon, and by the Lagoon in the corner, or you just simply press your buttons on your tablet, and it brings up that Lagoon, which you can edit yourself. So there's not a big necessity for knowing. The only thing I'd say, the most important key to know in Sketchbook Pro is spacebar. Alright, spacebar is your, every time you see I'm zooming in and out, I'm holding my spacebar and I'm zooming in and out. Creating brushes and stuff is very simple in this program. It can take time to get used to. You will have seen some of that other videos of mine where it takes time to get used to getting the brush the right way you want it, but that is just part of it. That is just part of it. I've got to check the timeline here. Okay, well, I've got 3 minutes to talk, and basically I'm going to end it there. The talk on everything of the piece of art, but keep an eye out for how it looks at the end. This is just the line work. I'll still do the coloring and everything for you guys. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. I would like you guys to go check out my Indiegogo campaign. Its link is at the bottom in the description. Just share that where you can. It'd be really helpful for me. I really need the tools that I'm going on about there. I really want to bring my artwork to a professional level to help you guys out and help myself out, obviously, but also, you know, the main thing is to develop and being able to help you guys out more. Yeah, and otherwise, I hope you guys keep at it, you know, and keep drawing and just practice. Keep doing what you can in these things. You can join me on my other social networks as well. The links are down below. Please do leave some comments for me. Subscribe to my channel, and you guys will get a lot of content, because I'm liking to stream like every time I feel like streaming in the week. So I might be working sometimes, but mainly on Mondays and Tuesdays, that's when I'm streaming. Last week I couldn't do it on Monday, but this week I'll definitely be doing it tomorrow. I'm going to be uploading this video tomorrow, and then probably just continue on color on this. Anyway, you guys must keep on taking the time. You know, 2 minutes is like a lifetime when you're talking to people. Not because it's awkward, it's just, especially when you're not using a script or anything, and that's not what I'm doing. I'm just holding my tablet below me and checking it out. Anyway, yeah, so please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Check out my Indiegogo campaign. Share that where you can, and definitely join me on any of my social networks there. I would love to hear from you guys. Please tell me what you guys want to see, what I can do for you guys, because that's what I'm about. I want to do drawings for you guys. I want to get this, and definitely go check my Threadless account out, because there you can pick up a t-shirt or whatever, you know. Anyway, so this is, well, my name is Diamond, and this is Aspiring Artistic Pigeon. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Cheers.